Are you an artist that wants to start your own business but you don't know how to define your niche? Well, you've come to the right video. My name is M.Falconer and I'm a self-taught visual artist. I've been running my own art business for 5 years, and in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how I found my niche and give you my 4 easy steps on how you can find your own niche for your art business. So let's get right into it. So in one of my previous videos on how to start an art business, one of my tips was to find your niche. So I noticed I was getting a lot of questions on how to go about finding a niche, what's a niche, so that's why I decided to make this video. So before we get started, let's go over what exactly is a niche. A niche is a specific theme that appeals to a specific group of people. Now this theme can mean a wide range of things. A specific art style, a specific medium, a specific subject matter, a specific message, or a combination of all of these things. Whatever you do, it just has to be defined in one way. And essentially, this is the thing that makes you different from every other artist. To have a successful business, you can't really make art that appeals to everybody because you need to have a brand and a marketing strategy that helps you reach your target audience. That's why a niche is super important. It's basically the driving force of your business operations. So now that you know what a niche is, let's get into how you can find your own niche. So the first step to finding your niche is to narrow down your interests. Let me explain. Your interests is what you really enjoy doing. It's what excites you, and it's usually what you're really good at. The thing is, as artists, we tend to have a lot of different interests. Like a lot of you probably watching this, I've been creative my whole life and I've accumulated a lot of different interests over time. When I was a kid, I was a musician. My parents put me in music lessons and I played piano at my local church. Then I got tired of piano and I learned how to play the guitar and the bass, and I even started my own band. Then when I got into high school, I really got into making dead mouse helmets. I got so good at making them, I even started selling them. Then after that, for some reason, I got into making puppets, and I would convince my friends to do puppet shows with me, and we would go to different churches and do puppet shows. Then by the time I hit university, I got really into graphic design. I became the marketing director for the Black Students Association at my school, and I would do all the posters, which led to me designing apparel for the student group. And so I got really into fashion and apparel. Then I got really into photography, so I could photograph all the events and product photography for the apparel. And then one day I had the spontaneous idea to paint portraits of my friends and family for gifts, and that's how I got into painting. So as you guys can see, I have about 7 different interests, and I enjoy all of them. But if I tried to do all of these in one business, it just wouldn't work. A business takes a lot of work, and there's just not enough time to develop all of these interests at once when you're starting a business. So once I decided to start an art business, I had to narrow down which interests I wanted to be the focus of my business. So here's how I figured out how to narrow them down. First, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. First, which ones do I like the most? Second, which ones am I most talented at? And third, which ones do I think I can make money from? After I asked myself these 3 questions, I realized that I love painting the most. I could literally paint all day, every day without getting tired. Whereas some of my other interests, I could get tired of them after a while. I also thought that paintings would be the easiest to make money from because I could sell prints as well as the original paintings. And I also chose apparel as an interest because I really love fashion and I felt like I can incorporate my paintings with apparel. And that's how I narrowed down my 7 interests into 2 interests: painting and apparel. And as you can see, you can combine multiple interests if they work together. So don't feel pressured to pick just one interest, but just make sure that they can fit together in one business. So now I want you to list out all of your interests and then ask yourself those 3 questions, and then narrow them down into the interests that you think will work best for your business. And once you've done that, let's move on to step number 2. So, once you've narrowed down your interests, it's time to focus on what I consider to be the most important part of a niche. You need to define your message. Your message is essentially what defines you as an artist. It's what you want your art to say, what you want people to feel when they engage with your art. It's basically what you and your art represent, and it has to be the same message across all your interests because it has to tie your business together into one theme. So, for example, when I started painting, I would just paint portraits of like whoever I wanted. I would paint Drake because he's my favorite artist. I would paint Jon Snow because, Game of Thrones was popping at the time. I would just paint any celebrity that I was into, which led me to painting a lot of prominent Black figures. But after a while, I realized that amongst all the random things that I was painting, there was a common theme in my art, which was representing Black culture. So I took a step back and I was like, why? Why am I painting these types of portraits? And by doing that, I realized that deep down, I really cared about representing pop culture from my perspective as a Black woman to promote empowerment and self-love within my community. So this quickly became my message as an artist. And moving forward in my business, I really only created the type of art that represented these values and communicated my message. So to find your message, you need to ask yourself, why do I create the art that I create? What do I care about as an artist? What do I want my art to say? And once you take the time to think about this, you'll know when you have your message, when you can easily say it in one sentence. So my sentence is, I create Black pop art that fosters a sense of empowerment, self-love, representation, community, and culture. Period. So go ahead and write down your message, and once you have your message, let's move on to step number 3. Alright, so once you have narrowed down your interest and you've written down your message, it's time to add the piece that will bring your niche all together. The third step is to find your audience. A problem that a lot of artists can run into when they're creating their niche is that it could be too small, where there's not enough people that are interested in it. Or it could be too big, where there's so many people that you can have a hard time standing out from the crowd. So before you lock in your niche, you need to ask yourself, who am I making my art for? Now, don't get me wrong when I say that, because I recognize that a lot of us as artists make art for our own internal gratification. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to compromise that for other people. What I'm saying is you have to define who resonates with your message as an artist. You need to do this so that you can find out if there's a decent sized amount of these people, and so that you can actually reach out to these people because you'll know who they are. So when I first started out, I would do a lot of local events, and I would always pay attention to who was coming up to my booth to look at my art. And what I noticed was that a lot of the people who came and bought my art were Black women around my age or a bit older than me. They weren't all Black women, but most of them were. Then further down the line, when I had a lot of customers, I did a customer survey. I sent out an email, and I actually got data back, and I learned that majority of my customers are Black women between the ages of like 25 to 45. So obviously I recognize that Black women are my target audience. Now, there could be a few different reasons for this. The obvious one is that I am a Black woman, and obviously human nature, people are drawn to people that they look like. And I also paint a lot of Black women in my artwork. So obviously that would resonate with Black women because they see themselves in my work. And also the message within my art is motivating for Black women because it promotes empowerment and self-love within Black culture. So for some of you, your audience might be easy to find because of the message of your art or because of the type of art that you make. But for some of you, you might have to do some research to really figure out who is resonating with your artwork and what do all of these people have in common. Now, keep in mind, I know I'm probably gonna get this comment in the comments, so I'ma just address it. Your audience does not have to be defined by demographic traits like race, age, and gender. It could be based on their location, their occupation, their personal beliefs, their culture, anything that ties a group of people together, really. Mine just happens to be Black women because of the nature of my business, but it doesn't have to apply that way for every other artist. So just want to make that clear. So some ideas to find your audience would be to straight up just talk to people. Ask people that are into your art why they like your art. Do this at art shows, galleries, events, or one of my favorite ideas is to interact with people on social media. You can ask people questions in the comments of your Instagram posts. You can go on Facebook Live. You could do polls on your Instagram stories. You could send out a survey. Whatever feedback you can get will help you define your audience. All right, so now it's time for step number 4. Now that you have these 3 pieces needed for your niche, it's time to put them all together. And there's a little handy tool that you can use to do this, and it's called a positioning statement. And basically, I'm gonna make it really easy for you guys. All you have to do is fill in the blanks of this following sentence, and you'll be able to easily define your niche. So the sentence is, for this audience, my business is a type of business that has these interests in order to promote this message. Okay, so let me use my business as an example. This is my positioning statement. For Black women, M.Falconer is an art and lifestyle brand that makes pop art paintings inspired by Black culture in order to foster a sense of empowerment, self-love, representation, and community. Period. Now, looking at this sentence, it looks really specific, but I just want to reiterate that just because my niche resonates with this specific type of person does not mean that only Black women can buy my art or that only Black women can resonate with my art. Obviously, I have customers from every type of background, and almost anyone can become a part of your audience. So this is not exclusive. I repeat, not exclusive, but the point of defining your niche is so that you have a clear direction. It's so that you have a clear focus for your business. And you having a clear focus will actually help attract people from all different aspects. So don't be worried that your niche is too exclusive. It's more so a guiding light for you to help grow your business. So don't think of your niche as strict rules that you have to follow. Just think of it more as like a guideline to help you grow your business. So get to filling out your positioning statement, and once you have that, congratulations, you've got a niche. So I hope I was able to help you get a better idea of your niche in this video. I know it can be hard to find a niche when you're just starting out, but I want to encourage you guys to just be patient with it. It might take months or years to really define your niche, but that is okay. Also, your niche can change over time because we're all human. We change, we grow, we evolve, and that is okay too. I know a lot of artists don't like niches because they feel like it puts them in a box and that it limits their creativity, but you don't have to think about it in that way. Finding your niche is just a tool to put your business in the right direction and to get you off the ground when you're just starting out. When your business grows and you establish yourself more as an artist, you could change your niche or forget it altogether. But at that point, it won't really matter if you have a niche because you would have already built up an audience, and they'll most likely be a fan of whatever it is that you decide to create. So the reason why we're focusing on a niche now in the beginning stages is to get to that point where we have that audience built up, and the fastest way to do that is with the niche. So please don't stress yourself out about having to stick to a niche forever. It's more about enjoying the process and enjoying the journey of discovering yourself as an artist. So have fun with it. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I will try my best to answer them. If you found any value at all in this video, please drop a like so that I know and I can make more videos like this. And of course, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future art videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope I helped at least some of you define your niche, and I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.